Hello, Helen.
Hi, Rob. Welcome to Term 3.
Wow, it feels like an age since we did a live broadcast. What's been happening?
It is. So it's been cold and dark, and we all had the most amazing 2 weeks holiday. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And it was amazing. And so last week we didn't do anything because we were on the back foot trying to get ready for Term 3.
But wasn't it lovely to walk into the staff room last week and just hear the buzz of excited people saying, what did you do? And what did you do?
Refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to rock and roll for Term 3 and its project.
Let's get going. What are those about?
Well, we know that it's a big project term. And teachers are like saying to the children already, this is a project term. Don't think you're getting away with exams. We got loads of projects to do. But in fact, that's not what it's about, really, is it?
No, not at all.
So if we look at what's got to happen this term, these are the projects that we need to get through. Tell us, Rob.
So English and Afrikaans is that new creative writing project that we looked at last year, and we will look at again in a couple of weeks' time. Maths projects across all grades, so that's creative writing and the maths projects, grade 4 to 7 all do. Geography for grade 5, that's about climate and weather, I think. History in grade 6 is about leaders that are building democracy or were building democracy. NST in grade 7, I think that's on energy. Yeah, on alternative energy sources. Life orientation or life skills in grade 7, I haven't actually looked at that topic yet.
Or the EMS, but it looks like grade 7s have got the raw deal here. But I think the grade 6s and 5s have done a project in another term.
They actually haven't. It's the way that surprisingly, the DBE try and spread the projects out. And I think some schools forget that that's how it works. I know I was chatting to one of my colleagues and they thought we had to do a project in all of the content subjects, not just history. And I think that's a kind of carryover from years gone by where we just did projects in every subject.
And I think this whole project thing, we just get all a bit verskrik and think, oh, what must I do? And then we think, oh, I've got to do history. And we just take it all on. Meanwhile, go back, read the document and know what you really need to do. And if you're clever, you could combine things like your English project could be part of your history project.
Totally. Or you could, so your maths, because you've got to do research for a lot of, for your creative writing project, a survey, data collection, tables, your graphs, all of that could be part of your maths project.
And you're doing that anyway, every day, and you could use that for your assessment. So it's all bang, bang done. If you're clever, you combine things.
Totally. Very smart teachers work smartly.
And with the English, I mean, let's face it, you're going to be teaching poetry or books or fairy tales or something this term. So incorporate it into your language. You've got so many lessons every week. Make it fun. It's just the way that you approach it that's going to be different.
I think you were saying your grade 6 teacher incorporated life orientation into the...
Yes. So they're doing fairy tales for English and they've already asked life orientation to look at gender bias.
Fantastic.
And so they've blended that. And so she's doing the research. And of course, computers are doing some work your school has.
So we have Chromebooks, we have ICT lessons. And so we've dedicated some of our ICT lessons to developing skills that we're going to use in our history projects. And our history projects are going to be digital.
Brilliant. So you've shared the load amongst everybody. That's the clever thing to do. Okay. So projects are just all about learners asking questions about a topic. Well, this is what we're trying to generate, is instead of just them listening, they now need to ask pertinent questions. So we introduce a theme, a topic, something, and then we hopefully challenge them intellectually that they're forced to ask questions and say, but why is it like that? Or shouldn't this happen? And that's what we're trying. Yes, we're trying to generate so that the learners need to actually then go and do research for themselves to discover the answer that's popped up.
And what's great about that is you don't get 100 projects that are all the same because kids are asking different questions. So thinking about that, the renewable resources for grade 7 is wind energy really the most environmentally friendly?
Why is it so cost effective? Not cost effective. Why is it so costly? Why are those turbines so big?
Exactly. And so we could get kids to talk about the same or research the same subject around the same topic, but have completely different questions.
Or mine would be, why don't we use wave energy more? I know we don't have the tidal zones, or the tidal variation. the movement of the tide twice every.
Also, could you have multiple renewable resources in one area?
Why not?
And not resources, renewable energy sources.
So during the lesson, children have to come up with these questions, which they go and research all by themselves. That's what it's about. So they're just another way that we learn to approach things differently.
Yeah, and also the thing is we need and not just hand out the same old project we've been doing for 20 years. I know I was one of those parents who kept the project, the grade 4 project for the next child, my child, and then said, here's something to work off. This is where your sister didn't do so well. You need to improve because the projects just didn't change.
Sure, sad.
So
they need to change because life has changed, and we need to accommodate 21st century skills and making children more independent.
Too much holiday.
And so that's really what we're looking at, that the project has a purpose and not just go and find out about this.
Yes.
It must be intrinsically driven.
Yes, exactly.
So it requires a bit of organization on the child's part. They've got to go and research whether they are going to go to the local library or they're going to
Google,
interview a friend. If they've got devices, they can use Google,
Twitter.
They can ask their parents, they can have discussions, newspapers. And so it's for them to go and generate and see where they can find information on this burning topic.
And I think part of the project process is also helping them, sort of guiding, especially your younger learners, in fact, everyone in junior school, guiding them through the process, going, you need to have done this by this date. And then also giving them feedback about what they've done so far.
Yes, reporting back midway and then maybe even a second chance.
Yeah.
I remember you did that last term on a project and a boy got such a much better mark because he came to you midway and you were able to correct him.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a very important part of this whole project.
Because that's actually the real world.
Yes, of course, yes. Yeah. Reporting to a superior who can tell you, hey, you forgot about that aspect. And then you go back, fix it, and come back in again.
Exactly, before you deliver your final presentation.
Brilliant. So we know this. We've looked at this a lot of times where Einstein said, once I've identified the right question, I can solve the problem. And clearly this project won't take 5 minutes because the theory of relativity didn't take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think with your children, say if you wanted to research that whole thing about why wind turbines are so expensive. You need to actually go and isolate the question, like where they're made. So you'd have to go and do all this. First of all, you start off with why they're so expensive.
Yeah.
Then where they're made, why they're so big, why do they need to be so big? And then you formulate the question is it possible to maybe make them smaller and more of them or put them in a different place or that kind of thing is what we're looking at. So definitely spend time on helping the children get the right question, which is essential. And then obviously there's lots of research. Then they've got to ask more questions, as we were describing, research some more. And it's literally about wonderment and awe.
Yeah, and we really want children to be able to get excited about the projects and not like you had children coming in this week going, oh, we've got 7 projects or 3 projects and I'm feeling anxious. They should be excited about their projects.
And stimulated that it's going to be their thinking.
Yes.
And that at the end, all they need to do is make a statement of what their question is, show some research and knowledge and factual backing, and then sound it out with their conclusion.
I feel so excited about this kind of approach to projects because I think as a teacher, you can also get excited about the projects you're going to get in.
Totally.
It's not just 100.
And it's intrinsically motivated.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So this term, we're going to take a little bit of time next week to maybe talk about the English, then we'll talk about the maths, and we'll pick up the various projects that we would like to talk to you about in a little bit more detail.
And because our 67 minutes last Monday, where we gave away 67 minutes for you to
opened up all our term work for grade 3.
And a few teachers took advantage of that, and we had some great feedback. We had some new schools jumping on board. We are going to try during our live broadcast, if we've got material around the topic we're talking about, we will have happy hour after the broadcast where you can have that particular module, project, whatever we've talked about, for free. Happy hour on Coach in the Class. So join us next week for another exciting little discussion about projects. Have a fabulous